Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are gonna be building a simple login and logout system which allow the users to log in by checking their username and passcode and then simply log out and return back to the login page after the PHP validation. So in this process we're gonna be using some PHP code and inside it some HTML codes. So let's get started and let me show you the demonstration first. So see, I am inside the localhost login PHP and my file login.php. So it check the username and password. So basically I have enter username Nepal, password Nepal234, and when I enter login, then it redirect me to the home website.php. So it's just a random text, and when I log out, then simply it return back to the login page. So you must be thinking that it's very easy and we can do it by simply using the HTML a tag, like HTML link tag, which basically link this button and send you to the another HTML page, and when you click this button then send you to the another HTML page. But in using PHP we are actually doing the validation. So let me show you the another sample. So I enter the wrong username and the wrong passcode, and when I hit enter, then it say that incorrect credentials. So login and logout. Now you might have noticed when I login, then URL changes to home website.php, and when I log out, it changes to login.php. So if I write website, yes, home website, so home website.php, and if I enter, then see it redirect again me to the login page. So you can see some codes. So actually we are gonna be doing all this in one video. So I have three files: home website, login PHP, and logout.php. And for the validation, here is the database. So if I go inside my database, then see these are the name and password. If we enter to that login.php, then we'll be redirected to our website. Then if the password and username is different from this database, then we are unable to log in. So test name and test password. So if we use test name and test password, it will allow us to log in. Now let's get to the video. So when you successfully install your Visual Studio Code and the Xampp, then you will probably see a new folder in your C drive. So head over to the C drive and you will find folder named Xampp. So inside them there is one folder named htdocs. So everything we are gonna be doing is inside this folder. So open folder htdocs, and I am gonna be deleting. So inside htdocs folder, just do nothing, you have to create a new folder. I have deleted two folders because I have already made that website, so I am deleting and making it again for you. So I am giving new folder name as a login web, and everything we do is inside this login web. So basically Xampp and htdocs, and we have created new folder login web. Now here we will paste our PHP file, which will directly run through the localhost. Now open your Apache and start the server, Apache and MySQL server. So when you start the Apache and MySQL server, now go to Chrome and type localhost and enter. Then you will find this interface and go to the phpMyAdmin. Now in phpMyAdmin, in the left corner, you will be able to create the new databases, and these were already there when you install the phpMyAdmin. Now localhost / your folder login web. So see, there is nothing in the login web. Okay, now inside this login web we will open Visual Studio Code, or if you have done mistake while installing your Visual Studio Code, then this option will not appear. Then you will manually open folder from this PC, local DC, Xampp, htdocs, and login web. So select folder. Now you should also install some extension which will be very helpful. So see these two extension: PHP debug, PHP interface, and PHP extension pack. So installing this extension, now we are ready to go. So this login.php, it will check the databases, and again another folder. So login.php, logout.php, and home website.php. So in this course we are not gonna be start the PHP. We are not gonna be starting the PHP courses from the starting to end, explaining everything. So basically you need a little bit of understanding, like what is the variable. Basically variable are parameters which are used to store anything inside it, and if condition, else condition. Then if you know HTML, then basically it will be very easy. And we are not gonna be building the sophisticated system. So if you are very new to the PHP, then if you follow this, then you will make a successful login logout system. So by using the minimum, I said the most minimum PHP code, how you can make the login logout system. And by the way, let me give you the basic. So the PHP tag start with PHP and end with this, just like HTML. So HTML start with this and end with this. So for writing anything, we use the echo statement. So echo is used to write in PHP, and no tags to write in HTML. So when I refresh this, you will see this 3 folder, and I am inside the login.php, and as you can see, echo is used to write in a PHP. So basically in PHP you can include your HTML and PHP, both of your files. So when you do this exclamation mark, then emit abbreviation or the HTML boilerplate will open. So first of all, now I am clearing all this. So Control R, nothing is there. Now we are gonna be creating a simple form which takes the username, passcode, and a login button. So we have our Apache server and MySQL server on. Now in a browser, I'm gonna type localhost / my folder name in ht-docs login web. So inside the Xampp ht-docs, I have all my PHP file in login web. So login web. Now when I enter this, sorry, spelling mistake, localhost / login web. Okay, now we are in the login.php. So login.php, there's nothing here. Now we are gonna be creating a simple form which take the username and the passcode. So for this we are opening and closing the form tag. Now for the method, we are using the post method, in which the form submit when we click on a button. For this method is equal to post, and we are not using any kind of CSS here. If you want some CSS, then please comment below. We will be doing more of the stuff on this. After creating a form, we have to create 2 fields which take text as an input for the username and the passcode. So input type text, placeholder username. Basically this placeholder display the username as shown in this. Now name is equal to name. This indicate that whatever name we enter inside this input type is equal to text, it will store in the name variable. This will be useful for the PHP. So again we need another input type password, and let's keep placeholder passcode. Now let's store this password under the password variable. So name is equal to password. This will be easier for us. See username and password. Now we have to start our Apache Xampp server. After you created the input type placeholder and input type passport and placeholder passport, now it's time to create the login button. For this button name is equal to, let's write login and give value login. So name is equal to login, value is equal to also login, and type login, then close the button tag. A login button will appear at the end of our form. It is aligned horizontally. Let's use the br tag to break line and separate them by two lines. I am using br 2 times. Let's see how the forms look like. Again I am using the br to break the line. So now it looks like a form. Now our HTML form is ready. We are not going to be using any kind of CSS over here. I also recommend that you install the HTML snippet, which will suggest you the HTML code. It will be very helpful you to write your HTML code. And if you are wondering that how my files are automatically saving, then just go to setting and search for autosave, and after delay and write 25. It will automatically save your any kind of files, so you manually don't have to press the Ctrl S or save the file. Now we have only created the sample HTML form button, which doesn't work. If we write anything and press login, it doesn't work because there is no backend. And under PHP we have to start a new session start. After session start we have to write if $_post. So what it does, you have to understand it. We have made the form under the method post. It means that everything we write under the username and password can be stored when we press the login button. Like the post method basically indicate that if we press the login button, then the form is submitted. So form submit under the method post. So if _post, then you can write $EARTS. Basically it is for the connection to the database. Just write mysqli_connect. Now localhost, we have to write the server name, username, password, database name. So server name is localhost, username is root, and password is nothing, and we haven't created the database. So okay, don't get worried by this. Basically this line is showing that how you can connect your PHP server on your localhost machine. How to connect MySQLi data based in PHP. So if I hit enter, then you will find that MySQLi is equal to localhost and the username, passcode, and the database name. Now just write localhost. Localhost and then click on the PHP my admin. Okay, I get some kind of error. This error will not occur to you. basically Apache server start and MySQL server doesn't start. So the server isn't starting. So there is 0.1% chance that you get an error on the Xampp server. I am just gonna pause my recording and resume it again. So I'm gonna copy paste this whole error and just search on the Google, and I got the first link to the Stack Overflow. So I have successfully found the same problem, and there is the 996 abort. It means the method is working. So if you also get the same error, then just follow me, your error will get solved. So for this error, go to the MySQL under the Xampp folder, and just rename the old data folder to data old. And create a new data folder. Now in the backup folder, copy all the content of the backup folder and paste it over the newly created data folder. Then mysql/data. Okay, we have successfully copied all backup content to the data. Now go to the data old folder, and you can copy the databases. So basically, if you are new, then you doesn't have to do anything. Just simply copy the performance schema PHP myadmin. So you should not copy the performance schema and PHP myadmin. You have to copy the this file ibdate. So this is 12 MB. The size is different, but you have to copy this to the newly created data folder from the data old. So you can purely skip this process if you did not get any error. Okay, now it will start. So yeah, we have successfully started our MySQL server and Apache server. If you get the same error, then just follow up. The error will get solved. Again, type the localhost and PHP myadmin. On the left corner, you are seeing the database's name. So let me open my login.php, localhost / my folder name login web, login php. Now under the databases, you have to click on the new and keep the database name. I'm just gonna name it as an users data. In the user data, create a table and give any name. I am giving name login check. I prefer if you are new and you only knew something about the PHP, then just follow up and create the same database and table so that you can catch up. And as I am creating a simple login logout system, so number of column 2 only for the name and password. Now I have selected 2 row, 2 column, and in one I want to store all the user's name, and in another I want to store all the password. I am writing name and password. Name, it is the varchar, and password is not integer, it is also varchar. Length value, I prefer you give a big number, 256 length character and 256. This will be enough. Don't do anything and just click on the save. So I have created a new database named usersdata. Under this I have created a table named logindata, and there is nothing, some SQL commands, so we'll also be talking about that. Now direct head over to the insert page, and insert the name and password for the login validation. I am typing Niranjan ND and ND Niranjan. Niranjan ND ND Niranjan. Again go to the insert. You can insert any of the name and password. The name and password you insert in this table. We will later check this table and match the entered user ID and password. If they both match together, then we will allow user to log in, and if they don't match, then we will not allow user to log into our web. So I am inserting, and you can see that the name and password list is being updated. You can also do this via coding. Now I am writing some name, like, let me think. Okay, nothing as a name, and nothing 1 2 3 as a passcode. Jupiter as an username, Jupiter 1 2 3 as an passcode. When I click on go, you can see that it perform a command, insert into login data, name, password, values, nothing 1 2 3 Jupiter 1 3 3. I have copied this, and you can see that these two are added. Now under this SQL tab I have pasted over here. So in the place of the nothing, miracle 1 2 3, and similarly in place of the Jupiter and Jupiter 1 2 3, I am gonna rename to the different words, entry exit, and when I hit go, it will again update. So you can see that we can insert the name and password by typing under the name and password in the insert tab, and also in the SQL command. Now the database name is user data. Under user data we can create many tables, and I have created only login data tables. For an example, you can see the other databases. Like under test there is nothing, so performance schema. Okay, now you can see that under the performance schema database there are so many tables, but currently we have only one database, users data, and only one table, login data, which has 2 columns, name and password, for the login validation. Now $_earth mysqli connect. The localhost means the server name, root is the username, and by default in the localhost there is no password. Now on the fourth place you have to give the database name in which we want to connect. So now we have successfully connected the database. Now whenever we write earth on the SQLi command, then it automatically connect to the database. So the $check name is the variable, and we are using it to store the name we provide in the form. The check name store the post name, it means the name which we enter in the login page. Now for the password also we have to create a new variable. Now let's create the check password as a variable which store the enter password in the login form when we press the login button. Basically dollar check password is a variable. Dollar anything in the PHP is a variable and it stores something. So you can see in the HTML form the method is post. It means when we press the login button, the name we entered is stored in the name and the password we enter is stored in the password, and that name under the post method is stored in the check name, and that password under the post password is stored in the check password. Basically the dollar check name and dollar check password, it store the user's entered name and password when we enter the login. Now let me show you the MySQLi query. $earth give the connection to the database, comma and double semicolon, and I am gonna paste the whole thing we have copied earlier. So from the Visual Studio Code also you can insert the name and password into your database. In the MySQLi query, it take two variable, one the connection to that database which is defined as an $earth, and another the SQLi query to run. We have run the query insert into login data name password, and for this I am changing the value. Now whenever we refresh our login.php, the database name and password will get updated. As you can see, there is no change in the name and password, but when I press the login button, the whole login.php will execute and the line number 9 will also execute, and in the line number 9 the new name and password will be inserted into the database. So you can see the new username and password is inserted on the database. Again, when I press the login button, the whole login.php will insert the new username and password again. In the HTML form, the method is post, and when we press the login button, the form will be submitted. The name is stored under the check name variable, password is stored under the check password variable. I have also shown some MySQLi query insert into query which insert the name and password into the database. Similarly, for the login validation, we can use the SQLi query that if username is equal to the username on the database table and password is equal to the password on database table, if they match, then log in the user, and if they doesn't match, don't allow user to log in. So for this I am gonna create a variable $result and run the MySQLi query. Now I will show you the easiest method to do this. Check the validation. Go to the database and go to the let me head over to this. So I am again saying one more time that the name we entered here is stored in the check name, and the name we have to check the password in the password list. If the name entered and the password entered match, then the user must log in. So go to the search bar and select is equal to on both, and for the value, okay, let's write the value name and the Spider-Man password. So as we know that there is something name and something same is Spider-Man password, we got the 2 row as an output. Now you can see the command select all, star means all, select all from the login data where name is equal to dash and password is equal to Spiderman. I'm gonna copy paste whole thing. Now for the actual validation, the name and password are not as the INTOIT and the Spiderman. So $result is equal to mysqli query $earth, it connect to the database and select all from the login data where the check name is equal to name and password is equal to check password. So you can see the name is equal to INTOIT. But the name should be checked with the name we entered in the HTML form, and password check password. Try to understand this line very carefully. We are selecting all from the login data in which we are searching the name is equal to check name. So what is this check name? The check name is equal to the post name, and it is the same name that we enter into the HTML form. The $check password is equal to password in the database. The $check password means the post password, and it is the same password that we enter into the login form. So the user name we entered into the login form get stored into the check name, which is directly compared to the database name, and the password we entered is directly compared to the database password. If they match, then we have to log in. Now for this if condition, and we have to check the number of row. Basically the $result is equal to, it will output some number. For an example, if there are 2 rows with the same name and same password, then it will give the output of the 2. For this, if mysqli num is greater than or equal to 1, there can be the 2 users with the same username and password, and we have to send them to the website. mysqli num $result is greater than or equal to 1, and if the password successfully matches, then we are writing header location is equal to home website.php. So if the name and password matches, it means that if the number of row is 1 or greater than or equal to 1, then head over to the home website.php. Else, if the name doesn't equal to the $check name, it means that the entered name is not in the database and the entered password is not in the database. Then we are displaying some alert message that says incorrect credentials. Okay, now let's try it. And password is Spiderman. Login. We have successfully directed to the home website.php, but there is nothing in the home website.php. Now we are writing something in the home website.php. Welcome to the home page. Let's create a logout button also. Input type button, value is equal to logout. Let's put this whole button under the link tag, HTML link tag asref. Head over to the logout.php and close the anchor tag. Okay, it is going redirected to the logout.php, login, login and login.php. So when I write the wrong information, it say incorrect credential. When I write right information, it allow us to log into the system. Miracle and miracle 1 2 3. Okay, it allow us to log in and log out. But if you notice at the URL, incorrect credential. But if you notice at the URL, if I write here home website.php, then it directly go to the home website.php. So this should not happen, because without login no one should go to the home website.php. So for this we have to do something at the home website.php. We have to write some of the PHP codes under home website.php file. So open PHP and close the PHP. Always the session start, and we have to use a simple, very simple trick. If $session name, if there is some value under the $session name, so first of all we have to define in the login.php. So okay, you can see the $result, and if mysqli number result greater than 1, the statement we are writing here will execute only if the login username and password is correct. So we define a $session variable. $session name is equal to $checkname. So $checkname is the name we entered in the HTML form. When you press the login button, the name we enter in the HTML form under the method post is stored in the checkname, and the statement if $session name is equal to checkname and header will execute only if the login username and password is correct. And we are storing the username $checkname under the session variable. So if $session name $session name is found, it means if the username and password is correct. Let's display some message. First of all, let me cut this. Welcome to the home page, and let's write welcome after successful login. Don't forget to put the semicolon in the every end statement of the line. Okay, echo welcome after the successful login, and else if there is no session, then head over to the login.php. So if username and password will match, then only the session name will have some value, and for this it will display the message welcome after successful login. And if there is no session name, then the else statement will execute and it will head over to the login.php. So you can clearly see in the home website.php, in the else statement we should write header location is to login.php. If the username and password do not match, then the else statement will execute because there is no value in the $session name. Okay, now let's check this. Login.php, and I am writing home website.php, but there is no username and passcode, so you can see it redirect me to the same page. Okay, I am pressing enter key, but it is redirecting me to the same login.php. See, because the $session name, it has no value. Okay, let me insert one row and copy this whole thing. So I am checking one thing, that it insert the blank username and password, because the session name is blank. So if we actually insert the blank username and blank password, then it should log in. Okay, now I am copying this insert into statement. If this will happen, then the whole project will fail, and I am gonna paste it. Previously I have changed the username and passcode, but I am gonna leave this whole blank. The question is, does the database username and passcode will also fill up with the blank space? Okay, 2 rows successfully inserted, but on the browser you cannot see any of the blank name and passcode. There is no blank name and passcode, so the blank login will do nothing. Now when we write the right username and the right password, it will allow us to log in. Under the logout.php, the code is very simple. We have to start the session start, then unset the variable session name. And this will allow the user to log in if they enter the right username and password until the session is over. After unsetting header location login.php. Now when we press the logout button, the session name is unset and we head over to the login.php. If we try to go to the logout page, it will directly redirect to the login. Let's type. I think I have mistaken the password. Oh, sorry, it's the right. Now logout and home website.php, so it redirect to the login.php. Logout.php, it again redirect to the login.php. But if the user is under the session, then he can head over to the any pages. Okay, for an example, I am logged in right now and I haven't pressed the logged out button, so I am still logged in. Now I go to the login page and I'm still logging. Now if I go to the home website, then it will go. See, this happened because I am already in the login state. The session is not over yet. If I press the logout button once, then it's impossible to go to the home website. But if I log in once, then it will be very easier to move over to this. Now I have created the same website using the HTML and CSS. Now you can see niranjan.rf.gd. So I have created it using the HTML and CSS, and basically the principle is 100% same. So for the video purpose, I have made a very simple logout login system using the PHP. It is the most simplest login logout system, and I have used it the same in this website. But in this website I have used some of the CSS. So if you want some of the HTML CSS video, then just comment, and don't mind for the English language. Thank you very much for watching. But in the description you will find the 3 code file and an additional file including simple CSS also. For this I have added classes and container to the form in the HTML attributes, nothing more than that. Tell me if you want a detailed video about the wonderful design to your web, and much more about the web design and hosting your web. So thank you again for watching whole video.